Good evening, everyone. As they say, today everything around us uh, is in some way associated with a startup, and whatever we are doing, you have one or the other of the more than 2 lakh registered DPIIT startups who are trying to make a change and make things, better, cheaper, faster, or trying to do for that. Mobility is one such segment. I remember seeing Back to the Future, wherein, you had those hoverboards. Okay, that is the epitome of, say, innovation that we should be looking forward to, and have an energy source which is like never depleting. But wishes, if the wishes were horses, we would have them all with us. Till such time as that, we have some startups with us today who are, trying to make things in a better manner. And to begin with, we have so the format would be you will have a pitch which would be we'll have a bell after three minutes, and 5 minutes is the cap, and we'll have a Q&A session which will have the same format. 3 minute a bell will be there, and 5 minute will be a cap. I've been given the task to ensure that we adhere to the timelines, and I request the investor folks to abide by these timelines. Okay. So to begin with, we have our first pitching session. We have Taurus Motion. Taurus Robotics is there, which is working on a different kind of motors for the mobility segment, and wherein you have lesser material requirement, and these are supposed to be far more efficient than the BLDC ones typically that you have. So without much ado, I think I would request Vignesh to come down over here. So Vignesh, the stage is all yours.
Hello everyone. Very good evening. I'm Vignesh, one of the co-founders of Taurus Motion, redefining electric motion across industries. So the world is electrifying rapidly, and it's evident that electrification is our future. If you look at the stats, about 95% of the powertrain technology, that is motors and controllers, or the technology behind it, is currently being imported and being used by the Indian OEMs. Because of this import dependency, it is not creating an hassle in terms of serviceability or getting a warranty, but also leads to total cost of ownership increase because of the shipping and import duties when you import these electric motors. Besides, whatever existing electric motors are out there in the market today are quite heavy, bulky, less efficient, and requires frequent maintenance. So to avoid all this issue, for an electric motor, which is a core of any electric vehicle, we are offering Taurus Motion platform, which is a combination of high-efficient axial flux electric motors and controller technology. So before I move forward, I would like to quickly differentiate what I exactly mean by axial flux. Today, if you look at the traditional motor technology, whatever it is, whether it's BLDC, PMSM, or any other motor technology, if you open it up and see the architecture, it will have a rotor in form of a cylinder. Whereas in terms of our axial flux, the rotor is in form of a disc. So this entire architecture is similar to a CD player. So we've taken this architecture, we've infused a proprietary design, material, manufacturing, and cooling technology, which we have patented it, to make this architecture of motors even more compact, even more lighter, and even more efficient. So we have a wide spectrum of motors starting from sub 30 watt and can go up to 500 kilowatt, starting from applications of room air conditioners to up to windmills. So this is a quick differentiator of where we stand in terms of the motor technology. Today, if you look at the radial flux motors, which is induction, PMSM, BLDC, SRM, magnet or magnet-free motors, all this, if you open it up, it will have the same radial flux architecture. Whereas in the global scale, these are being replaced actively by axial flux motors. And that is exactly where we stand, where we compete even over and above the global axial flux motor companies. So to summarize, we are at least 50% lighter and compact, 15% more efficient, and we consume 30% lesser active materials, what is required to make an electric motor. So in terms of the powertrain module, what we have for the electric mobility division, we currently have about 12 variant of products, starting from 48 volt to 72 volt, which can go for two-wheelers, three-wheelers, and also for four-wheelers, especially for golf carts and go-karts. And we also have our own indigenous motor controller, which is an AI-based universal controller, such that it can also go and pair up with any radial flux motors as well. So the controllers, we also sell it as standalone product to pair it up with any motors which are there in the market today to make them even more efficient. So how does it exactly make sense to any electric vehicle OEM, right? So just as a replacement or a drop-in replacement, by using our motor and controller, we improve the vehicle performance in terms of 15% in terms of speed, 32% in terms of acceleration, and 10 to 15% in terms of mileage, while doing all this by consuming 30% lesser material what goes into a motor technology. So these are some of the client applications that we have given our motors for in terms of the mobility space. So including electric two-wheelers, three-wheelers, four-wheelers, and also for not just powertrain modules, but also we cater to the radiators, which also goes for IC engines based technologies and products. So not just in terms of on-road vehicles, we also give it to electric boats as well. So wherever there is existing electric motor out there, it can be replaced with our compact, lightweight, and energy-efficient axial flux motor technology. So these are all the client applications which we have done, including two-wheeler, three-wheeler, and also for electric boats and industrial pumps. So we've gone through all the certifications, what's required for our technology in terms of production, in terms of reliability, and all those aspects. And today we are the first company in India to indigenously design, develop, and produce axial flux motors and controllers in volumes. So we are a 6-year-old company where we spent the first 5 years in terms of R&D and product development. Today we have recently commercialized our products and actively deploying into OEM vehicles with the examples what I said. We're a company which is also invested by TNIFMC, IIT Bombay, Forge, STPI, and MITI Startup Hub. And we are a 15-member team, right? So we've got multiple awards and recognitions, both in terms of technology aspect, in terms of the grant ecosystem, and also in terms of climate aspect. Because we electrify many of the equipments and we consume lesser materials, we also have a larger carbon impact by using our motors and technology into the end-use applications. So that's a brief introduction about us, and thank you so much. Yeah.
Great. That was a pretty crisp presentation, all well in time. I think it is well rehearsed. And with the investors that you already have, I think you've been incubated well enough also. So just one question before anyone else asks. Sign is also an investor. Your patent is jointly held, or how is it?
No, it's independently held. So we have our own patents with us.
You have your own patent?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So like over to the jury. So we have Mr. Uday with a question. Yeah.
Hello. First of all, great to see young men and women of this country keep working on building companies. Very, very important. I'm going to be, to all of the guys, right? I'm going to be very, very, I'm going to be very hard on everybody because this game is hard, right? There are no shortcuts.
So true.
There are, we've been in this game for quite some time, right? I'd say a good 8-9 years. We've seen many, many powertrains. We've seen many players that have come with motors. My question to you is, the differentiation of yours versus, you said you're the only one with actual flux motors. There are others.
Okay.
There are others also that are in this game.
Yep.
So what? I mean, obviously you've been at this for about 6-7 years. The market has also changed a lot, right? So where do you see you compared to others? There are multiple other players that are working on motor technology. Actually, I also was a big part of, in the last event. There was a company that there was a individual, Aragon. I have been a big support. I mean, I've been a big supporter of that. I picked him up from here. But tell me why you, compared to many, many others that are in this game, and many large players. There's some people sitting in here that have got significant investments and significant scale capabilities. And we're in a world now, to be honest, where that euphoria of startup especially in the EV world, has sort of calmed down a bit, right? Because the United States has taken a view, the Europeans have taken a view, and obviously India has, taken a view also. And what we have seen is the big boys and girls have consolidated in this industry. So I'd
what
like to
you're-
get some input on that.
So what you're saying is, what is your competitive advantage?
Yes.
And what is your unfair advantage over others? These are the two essential things that you're
Yes.
asking for. Please.
Yeah. So to answer your question, axial flux has been there even before the radial flux have been invented, right? But the conventional way in which axial flux motors can be manufactured, you can make prototypes out of it, but mass production is a very big challenge in terms of axial flux. That's exactly where many of the companies fail by taking up the conventional approach of making an axial flux. They make prototypes, but they fail when they mass produce it because of the tight tolerance requirements. And typically, when a motor delivers such a higher power in a very small compact form factor, the motor tends to heat up a lot. It fails eventually. So when we decided that we want to get into axial flux 6 years back, this is exactly the problem statement that we wanted to work on. We didn't want to create another axial flux motor, but we wanted to solve what is the challenge that is stopping axial flux from being adopted. So that is exactly where we have our patents on. We have our proprietary design, material, manufacturing, and cooling technology. So if you take, let's say, a conventional axial flux motor and compare it with our axial flux motor, both will be totally different. So that is exactly why we are able to compete with other axial flux. When I mean other axial flux, the global axial flux motors as well, in terms of size, weight, and performance and everything. So we changed the entire way in which axial flux motors are being manufactured.
How many vehicles on the ground with your product now? Obviously, you've been here 6-7 years now.
So we've recently launched our product. We've spent 5 years of R&D in terms of getting this problem statement solved on axial flux, where we have worked with multiple OEMs in terms of from the prototype stage, constantly improving and everything. So as on date, up to 100 different vehicles are using our motors and running on road. So in terms of the reliability aspect, we've crossed over and above 50,000 kilometers, where our motors and controllers are actually tested, not in commercial EV. I'm talking about in sporting equipments, including go-karts, where the powertrains are tested to the maximum and fullest of potential, where the powertrains are actually abused
So
to the
on
core.
2 or 3 or 4 wheelers with registered OEMs, have you got any vehicles on?
So recently we have put it in close to 15 OEMs, both two-wheeler and three-wheeler, which has gone into homologation process right now. So we've actually launched our product over 9 months back.
Okay.
Who were the
Commercially.
customers though? Who were the customers you were mentioning?
So I'm not able to mention the tier 1 customers that we are working on because of the confidentiality reason as of now.
Okay.
But
Tier
tier 2 we supply to Triox, Fortune EV, Future Farms, Movem, and there are a lot of other companies as well that we supply for.
Okay. So, Riddhish, any questions you would have?
Is any of the tier ones, can you give what kind of size? I mean, how many do they sell on a monthly or annual basis? Don't name them, but at least can you give a sense of what size these tier ones are?
So right now in terms of tier 1s, we are not commercially supplying it, but we are actually giving it to them for the future vehicles that they are about to launch. So certain tier 1
The product planning phase.
Yes. So we've implemented and the products are tested. They are about to launch the vehicles into the
No,
market.
but what is the current, I mean, how many do they sell on a monthly basis today? Not using your motor, but what is their footprint?
He's
These are
asking
top
the
tier
scale of the
ones.
companies.
These
How
are
much
all
they
top 3 to 5 companies in the Indian space in two-wheelers and
Okay, so
three-wheelers.
you're talking about the Aethers and the Olas and all of them. Okay. Any other questions? We
just
can
one
have
more-
one question from the audience if say anyone is wanting. Shahnawaz, yes?
Following, quick follow-up question. Very simple question, why would a new OEM try your motor? You are 6 years into the space, 9 months into production or whatever, into rollout. Why would anyone switch from their existing good working motors to your motor?
Can I answer that? He requires lesser material, longer range. I mean, that's what his features are.
Exactly. So,
So-
you see a lot of innovations.
So your BOM cost is reduced then.
What is the percentage of cost reduced?
So in terms of motors, at least 10 to 15%. in terms of overall costing perspective. So I would like to bring in totally another different perspective to you. So I was showcasing a 15% betterment in terms of mileage, right? So as an OEM, you can take two different approaches. One, to position the vehicle a bit premium than the existing product line, or to reduce your battery dependency by 15%, so that you have the same mileage, but you reduce your battery dependency. So let's say if you talk about even a 1.5 kilowatt, or let's say a 1.5 kilowatt hour battery dependency, that would cost you easily around 10 to 15,000 in terms of your overall vehicle cost savings. When you take a two-wheeler which is costing around 1 to 1.5 lakh, you already save about 15,000 in terms of your battery dependency.
Costing in overall manufacturing cost.
Yeah, that's what. So if you have your cost of your vehicle at 1 lakh, and you can already reduce from the battery cost saving, you can save about 10 to 15,000 per kilowatt hour basis.
That is the overall cost. I'm
Yes.
asking about the upfront cost.
See, for motors, we are pricing it in par with the existing motor what you get in the market. Though we offer a betterment in the performance and mileage improvement, we offer it at the same cost of your existing motors.
I hope that answered your question. Okay. Good. So good. Thanks so much,
Thank you. Thank you so much,
So-
everyone. Yes.
Vignesh. So that is about, having a motor which is giving you more for less. And I have, in terms of startups, we have a saying, less is more. So the lesser you need something, or the lesser the words you need. Similarly for startups, you have a smaller pitch, you may make a bigger impact with that. Okay, so good. Thanks so much, Vignesh. Moving over to next, we have Rahul Venkatraman, who's the CEO of Evo Ride Motors. He's come all the way from Chennai, Bangalore. Okay, and he was working on some parts of this thing, and from that he's moving to the whole vehicle itself. So I think I'll allow you to do the.
Can I have a hand mic? Starts? Yeah. So first of all, very, very good evening to all of you. Nice lunch. A little heavy. We are a little drowsy as well. Let's electrify this a little bit, right? So I'm Rahul Venkatraman. This is my company, Evo Ride Motors Private Limited, and we are here to offer freedom of energy to every individual. I'm no more talking about just an EV. This is freedom of energy, and I'll tell you why exactly. I own an Ather, right? 2.9 kilowatt hour of energy. It's parked in the basement of my house. I don't have an inverter at home. 2.9 kilowatt hour of energy I'm not able to use other than anything for my mobility. I know I need backup because in Bangalore, unfortunately, we have a lot of power backups and issues, so work from home can't happen. So this got us thinking that, like how we have always tried to replace an IC with an EV, you don't have to see an EV in the same lens as an IC, right? Which is exactly where we come from, right? So before I even go to the next step, right, I want you guys to understand that what we're building here is transformative. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. Thank you. Yeah, so there are close to 500 million people living in apartments like me, and I live in the 4th floor. People live in the 15th, 18th, 20th floor who can't access their batteries or charge their vehicles or have those issues because energy is fixed. You don't want energy to be fixed. You want energy to move because you can move, right? And then we understood that if you're able to move this energy with that person, that's exactly where freedom is, right? So that's exactly what we are bringing here to the picture, where we build that is our battery pack, like a briefcase, like you can see here, where essentially you can carry it around anywhere. It's very stylish, very good. But ultimately, we have 2 patents on that. So that allows us to do 2 things which currently no battery pack can do. I can service a single cell in that battery pack if required. As well, if I give the components of my battery pack to you guys who have no clue of building a battery pack, you guys can assemble my battery pack. You want to see how? Yeah? Can I just play the first video? Yeah, this is the scooter prototype that we built to showcase. That's the battery pack. So that's how seamlessly it goes into the vehicle. That's the whole scooter as well. Yeah, so that's the scooter prototype we built to showcase our battery pack. I'll showcase the next video, which showcases how simple the battery pack is to build. And then I'll get it all together for you guys as to why this is the... There's another video. Okay, no issues. Essentially, think of it like Lego blocks. If I give the components of the cells, the battery pack, everything together, like Lego blocks, all of you can assemble it on your table with just a 10-step instruction. That's how simple we're building it. Now, why all this, right? You'll be thinking, what is this guy talking about? See, ultimately, you have to realize that scooters are the biggest movers of energy and people across India. We know that for a fact, even in the previous discussion we had, right? So, if energy has to be moved around everywhere, right, with people, why should it be fixed? And imagine if your battery pack, imagine if I could take my Aethers battery pack and actually power my house with it. I can be off-grid, I can have the battery pack for 2 use cases than just one. That's exactly what we're able to build with our battery pack, where the battery pack doesn't just is used for your mobility purposes in your scooter, it can go back upstairs in your house, dock into our inverter / charging station and actually power your house. ACs, fridge, everything together, right? One battery pack is 2.6 kilowatt hour. Imagine 3 of them. You can be off-grid. That's something that's transformative in the EV space, which is why I said it's transformative. You're no longer worried about, oh, how much range is my vehicle giving, which, by the way, our vehicle can have 3 such battery packs on board. But you're wondering about, oh, I can actually power my house. I can power not just my house, I can go wherever I want, and I can have energy with me to use for anything I want, right? So this is a new perspective to EVs. And this is, like I said, the brief video of the vehicle you saw, that's a prototype. It's called the EvoScoot XP1. XP1 is homage to the McLaren F1, the first prototype, right? And this is 3 variants that we have. A few technologies that we have built in. 2 patents we have already got on the battery pack. A few more on the chassis, on the vehicle. In fact, the whole vehicle, as well as the battery pack, is designed to be assembled in a room like this, micro factories, where it's built as simple as a Lego block, right? So you're not looking at, again, a typical OEM approach of gigafactories or megafactories. It can be built in any dealership as well. That's how simple we've engineered it. So a few other bits of this. But the end goal is not to be an OEM, to be honest. The starting bit is two-wheelers. We want to enable and ensure a microgrid across the country. It starts from two-wheelers, where we sort of give it out. Houses, apartment complexes sort of become a collated microgrid, and that scales up to cities. So we'll essentially be energy infrastructure providers across cities through the battery pack. The fundamental be the battery pack, right? And the business model is quite simple. We have a scooter sale, we have a battery pack sale, we have an inverter sale, and an after-sale service. Together, you can choose whatever you want, right? This is a basic of what we are doing. Ultimately, what we've seen now is because of the position at which we are, we know EVs are the future. We know energy is a massive requirement. We know urbanization is growing rapidly, left, right, center, right? So this is the right time in which what we are doing sieves into what currently is required. And ultimately, this is where we have a big advantage because we own the whole stack. The battery stack, the whole vehicle, as well as ultimately we know that the network effect will get us to microgrids. So this is our long-term thought process of how we want to sort of get this in phases, where we believe that ultimately we will be able to have DISCOM partnerships with city-wise microgrids, right? This is my team. Very proud to say we're a very small team, but we've been able to accomplish this in a very small team. Me and my co-founder met at Triumph Motorcycles. We come with prior experience from there. One thing common between all of us is we're all Formula 1 enthusiasts. So we know technology, how it drives down. That's where we come from. We've been incubated at Arai Amtef as well. We've already, luckily enough, been able to supply to the defense. What you see here is our battery pack called the Portable Engine Starter Unit, supplied to the Army, Navy, as well as the Air Force. This is used to basically start helicopter engines, right? 1500 amps, minus 30 degrees, we've done that. We've got DGAQA certification. I was lucky enough to meet our Prime Minister, showcase our scooter, showcase our battery tech as well. So we've also got some orders going through for automated bots, AMR bots, which autonomously help in warehouses. What we're looking for is a $2 million round. We have been bootstrapped. 2018 we started. Last year, thanks to our battery pack, defense battery pack, we had a 99.5 lakh revenue. This year, we're on track to do over 1.2 crore. We're PAT positive already, looking to raise $2 million round. And this is fundamentally for two things: to get to ARAI homologation of the battery, as well as a vehicle, and to actually start pilot production. So we align to all these SDG goals, but think of it in a different way, that all of us, it's like our power banks. Now we can't live without our power banks. We are enabling a future where you don't have to be worried about the grid or worried about electricity. That's what we want to enable everyone to do. And we see in the next 10 years, we should be the pioneers of that. We would love to partner with you guys for the same thing. Thank you.
Ridesh.
Thanks for that. Quick question. So I think you mentioned that obviously the objective is to put the battery pack in my house, right, for dual uses. But your GTM is selling vehicles. So how do you sort of plan to solve for brand and distribution? Because that's the only way you'll be able to put the battery in my house, right? So what's the plan there?
Right. So ultimately, distribution, like you rightly said, is the main part of this. So because we do come from the automotive background, we already have a lot of dealers, distributor network that we already are in contention with. And currently, we're at a position where I can even show you my mailbox. We have probably 100 mails of people all the way from Leh, because we went to Leh with our battery pack, until Kanyakumari have sent us mails saying that we want to, sort of get a dealership on board. So we have the pull. We need to get the vehicle certified and get through. Secondly, though it is that distribution play, because of the way we've designed the vehicle, it's not a typical OEM play where you have to have a massive distributor network, transportation and all that. It's like a Lego block. Imagine a cyclist being assembling a cycle at your local road. That simple we made it. So it's a slightly different touch on how distribution works, but we have the direction that we will get through there.
Just a question, what exactly is the patent on?
Correct. Two things we have two patents for. One is for the weldless battery pack, where we don't use any sort of welding. So ultimately, it allows you to access a single cell for a single cell serviceability. Second is how we cool it. We do something called cell tab cooling. Unlike typically using a phase change material, etc., where you have the whole cell dipped in, we've seen a 40% increase in effectively removing heat from the cell, which is what a second patent is about.
And tell me, how different is this from the Honda EV swapping thing?
Absolutely, totally different. First of all, I'm sure you saw the form factor.
Yeah.
That's totally different.
Yeah.
Second thing, 2.6 kilowatt hour, one battery pack versus Honda being 1.5.
Okay.
So that's the second big difference, energy density. Third thing, no, Honda doesn't offer a single cell level serviceability. We do. We can. Right? So ultimately, the asset life increases by 2x right there. So if, let's say, typically in any battery pack, even if you run it, abuse it, right, in fleets, you have 2 or 3 or 4 cells that have issues out of the 100 odd cells. Here we can replace those exact 3 cells. They can't.
And what's your revenue right now? You were saying you're PAT positive. So what is exactly the sales so far?
Yeah, so we've been able to sell the defense battery packs currently. Last financial year, we had a revenue of about 99.5 lakh. We had a overall profit of about 10 lakh rupees, 10 to 12 lakh rupees. And this year, this financial year, we should be crossing about 1.2 to 1.3 crore. And all this is being bootstrapped, while us getting something called DGAQA certification. So that's defense level certification. Basically, we do JSS Penta 5. It's AS 156 amendment 2 into 2. So we've gone through that whole process of homologation.
Have you filled up for any IDEX challenges on the defense side? Now that you made those sales or something like that?
We wanted to. Luckily enough, we could develop this with our own money because we were bootstrapped and all that.
Okay.
We actually tried for applying the IEDX challenge, but weirdly enough, the timeline that we had to do this. By the way, we developed this whole defense battery pack from paper to production and certification in 9 months.
In 9 months.
In 9 months. So yeah, but we would love to apply for IEDX as well.
Okay.
So,
Would you have a question to that?
we've got 2 or 3 questions. One, what is the weight of your battery pack?
Currently, the battery pack as a single unit, even in proto level, is about 14.5 kgs. In production, we should be under 13 kgs.
And you said you're PAT positive, so are you guys taking salaries?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Not the salaries expected of us, but yes.
So if you take the expected one, then you would not be
No,
positive.
even then we would be. We have a very good margin, to be very honest, currently. But that's because we have designed ourselves that way. to
What's
be
the gross
very-
margin
Gross margin currently
on the
we are
battery
about-
pack?
On the battery pack, currently we are about 60% gross margin.
Okay.
And net we should end up at about 20-25%. But we have a lot of things that we are putting back money into developing the whole product, which is why I said 10 to 12% pack.
And how do you charge the battery pack? Through electricity?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
That's a good question. One, obviously through the grid. Second, the inverter, we have an MPPT embedded inside. So if you have a solar panel set up, you can actually be off grid and run your vehicle for free as well as the house for free. That's already embedded. Though we're not offering the panel itself, doesn't make sense for us. It's compatible.
So you mentioned 3 things. You mentioned the battery pack, you mentioned the scooter, and you mentioned being an energy provider. What business are you in long term? Are you an energy company? Are you a battery company? Are you a scooter company?
Absolutely, energy company. The target, the phase 1 is offering the scooter, which we believe is the fastest and lowest hanging fruit to get to the scale which we want to get. If not for the scale probability in the two-wheeler, we wouldn't be in the two-wheeler space at all. But since we have seen the crazy growth that's available, we believe that's the easiest and the fastest path. Not the easiest, but the fastest path.
And what is scale in your mind? How many scooters?
500 million people, I'm sure like me, are there who want both, right? And even if we can capture 10% of that market, which I'm sure we can, considering that we are not just an EV anymore, we have massive scale right there.
And what do you think is the time frame you required to hit that 5 million?
I can give you a very optimistic answer or a realistic answer. Optimistic answer will be within a year we'll be production ready, and the second year we'll start producing about 10,000 scooter. Very realistically, considering that I do come from the automotive background, it is going to be 2 years by the time we see that happening totally. But from the third year, we should look at the hockey stick growth that we expect.
Great.
I'll add a few things. I like Rahul. I like your innovation. I'll tell you a couple of things. Again, being on the front lines, those 100 dealers. When you go ask them where you're going to get the financing, I'll tell you what. I think you'll find 0 financiers. Okay, so it's very easy to say. I got 500 dealers looking up to line up on our 3-wheelers and our 2-wheeler program and a 4-wheeler program. Doesn't work like this. They'll look at your balance sheet, they'll look at your 99 lakhs of revenue, and in this market, 99 lakhs, mate, doesn't even get you out of here, right? It's great. No, I do like your innovation. The other thing I was going to say is the 2-wheeler market is an extremely, extremely tough market. There's a graveyard of companies that are out there, and to sell 10,000. I think even in 2 years, it's very, very optimistic in my view. I've seen the data, go and look for the data for the last 8 years. Forget, the top 3 or 4, but even the guys behind that, they've been making maybe 1,500, 1,600. And they probably got a $150 million raise from some of the companies. So it's going to take, my general view to you is, I think you've got a better chance on the battery side than on the vehicle side. I think the vehicle side is going to, it's going to distract you. I know it looks really easy. And yes, I've heard the data of 500, whatever, right? All these scooters. But जब बेचने जाते हो ना भाई, बहुत different game है. और ground पे reality बहुत different है. I see 2-wheeler companies come and go every other year.
Especially EV ones.
Especially EV ones.
Especially
And
EV ones.
You're absolutely
because
right.
the entry point is very easy for anyone, I've seen, and we've seen companies, they come, they straight away, there's a hockey stick curve, but there's a steeper valley of death curve. Okay, so I have like some words of say wisdom. So like any question you have, sir?
My question to you is, the battery, is this, is this scalable? Is this, how much testing you've done? Is there any OEMs that have tested this? Real time, have you worked with anybody that can sort of give you that scale in each, rather than going yourself?
This is exactly where I wanted to get to, right? See, it's very simple. I'll give the analogy of Apple and Samsung, right? And I'll tell you why. So,
Very quickly, please.
absolutely. Apple and Samsung are two big giants. I'm sure Apple can make a Samsung and Samsung can make an Apple. Money is everything they have, right? But they have an architecture to follow. And they will follow the architecture. They'll spend a lot of money and time in doing that. Same thing over here. I can go to an Aether. I can go to, I'm sure I can come to an Omega Seiki as well. But you guys have an architecture fixed. And for me to re-engineer your architecture will cost me money and you money and time, right? So ultimately, if I'd rather have this as a overall product, if you look at even the market, right, no one is offering what you're offering as a two-wheeler or as a battery pack. If I do separately, I absolutely agree to you, value of death on both sides, right? But because I'm getting both together and the capability of the technology that can do together, there is at least a 20% probability that we will not be in the value of death. I can tell you that.
But I've got Sun that Interfast that I work with. I work with Honda and Schwab. They have huge money. They have huge infrastructure. They've got all of that. So, to catch up, there's another side of this, right? Those guys have put up a huge amount of infrastructure. So you're going to, this is not so, in my view, not so easy. I do like your defense play, and I think that's something that has a lot more. I think that's definitely something to evaluate.
So I think what Uday is trying to say, you took the Apple and Samsung strategy, right? So you may start off as a Samsung which was providing DRAMs to Apple and your display screens and all, and then get into making the whole phone yourself. Maybe that could be one of the strategies you could follow. Thank you so much. I think that was a very interesting one.
Thank you so much.
And all the best to you. We'll keep you posted with people who are interested to engage with you further. An electrifying presentation, as he said, Is the room charged up or is it sleepy? Everyone's sleepy. Pranshu is charged up, Ridesh is charged up, not ways. Uday is charged up, not ways, you don't need to say it. Abhinav is sleepy. Okay, so with that, now we come to something, so when you're talking about mobility, you are also talking about tracking, and we are talking about EVs specifically. You are looking at, checking the battery health at any point of time, lest there be some smoke coming out and some patakas and dhamakas, as they call it. To the people who don't understand Hindi, because I think there are some people who don't understand Hindi. So the bombarding or the blast from the so-called battery packs or something like that. So that requires a lot of thing around checking the parameters, the temperatures, the others and all. We have with us Mubin Mohammed, who's come from Cochin. Okay, in fact, he's the one whose Hindi is a little weak. Okay, so he is representing Transite Systems, which is into advanced intelligence and hardware for safer mobility. Sorry. So, Mubin, please.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Myself, Mubin. I represent a company called Transite. Unlike others who have come up with innovation, I'm not going to give you any innovation here. I'm trying to probably bring in a practical problem that we wanted to solve and produce a product that is more indigenous, to compete to the global market, which actually complies with few Indian compliance standards and everything. So before that, let me start off with what we are. We are basically a 14-year-old organization. It was a dream of two of our founders who are college pass out decided to come up with an automotive, IoT device 14 years back, and then we were lucky enough to get into the AIS journey along with the government and we developed the backend for the AIs with CDAC. That's where our automotive journey starts in 2014. And currently we have around, as per Vahan, we have around 250,000 devices, attached to it with around handling around 1 billion pings a day kind of a stuff. Where we stand at this point in time, we are, I would say, yet another telematics company, like in the crowded market. But we would like to probably take a way forward with what innovation that Indian market can adopt at a reasonable price. So that's the point that we wanted to probably bring in here, which is about video telematics. What we see in the market at the moment is basically Chinese players coming in, trying to probably dominate the market, given some random cameras and everything. And then, of course, no compliance, no standards followed kind of a stuff. And of course, there are a few players who come up with aftermarket solutions with cameras, dash cams, and everything. So we wanted to make it a single platform where the compliance is met, and of course, we wanted to probably manufacture it, design it in-house, and give it to the Indian market, because we are talking about a market which is around 1.3 billion at this point in time, going to be 20 billion in about another 4 or 5 years. And I'm sure India is going to play a major role in it. So what we are offering is a solution which is a DMS-enabled, ADAS L2 version with an Android core telematic device, which complies to the AIS. There are 3 AIS standards that are going to come in. One is the cybersecurity standard, the other one is the telematic standard, and the third one being the basic, track and trace standard. So we are trying to bring in all that together with a touch of storage system optimization, the streaming optimization. We are binarizing the platform and the streaming solutions around it, and then of course bringing in the AI element for the dashboards and for ML and everything around it, which will eventually take care of your all 3 standards which you see here. And that will also be a 10-inch display screen that probably comes in both as aftermarket and OE fitment, with a 3-channel CAN and everything, with regular telematics what you're talking these days in the market. So yeah, this is a small glimpse of what we are currently building. Where we are at this point in time is basically we have integrated multiple modules from different makers, tried and tested multiple platforms with different chip manufacturers, and we have also given a couple of POCs to 2-wheelers and 4-wheelers precisely. Why we are here today is to probably because this needs a lot of investment in terms of your R&D and everything. So we started it in 2025, early 2025. Aiming to finish it before 26 March, wherein we are not able to do it because of the intense R&D that is going inside this. However, we have a product at the moment which can show the POC and everything, but the sophisticated manufacturing setup that we currently are looking forward, which we are currently building, is also taking and consuming a good amount of our bandwidth. So that's the reason why we thought we should be pitching in, and this is the spec that you can see in the in the screen now, and that's about us. And one small thing that I wanted to bring in, we also have an eSIM company within us, which actually optimizes it to a global standard, where we would be happy to probably do a version for a global market specifically and for an Indian market specifically, which acts as a video telematics in both scenarios. So that's where we are in. I think I was quick enough within this 3 minutes.
Thanks, Mubin, for that interesting, insightful presentation on Transite. Over to the jury members. Questions? Ridish? Pranshu, that's right up your alley.
I won't be so harsh on you. What is your price and how do the Chinese manufacturers?
You're giving away your trade secrets now.
We're looking at $300 target.
Target, but where are you? How far are you from the target?
We're almost there, I would say.
Almost. And how much are the Chinese devices?
They're very less. You're not going to compare it. That's why I safely pulled in the compliance part, because there I don't think the Chinese markets are going to play. And similarly, I am in talks with companies in Europe, bigger players, where the Chinese are not going to play a big market, because I'm going to be a competent integrator, wherein I'm carefully picked in non-Chinese components into it, and I've devised a product which clears all the CE certifications and everything that is needed, FDA and every clearance that is needed. So that is one version I have, and of course a substandard version of that, of course complying to all the AI standards here, is also there. But the current version, as you may rightly assume, is a Chinese combination that we have for the
And
POC.
then how do you compete with players like Loconav?
Sorry, I didn't get you. Loconav you asked, right? We actually, as I told you, we are putting our foot inside the compliance market, and I think Loconav is not having a major share in the compliance market.
No, not in India, but I mean, what they do, last I checked, which was a couple of years ago, they give away the hardware for free in lieu for a monthly subscription, right? And they sold their India business to somebody, and they're operating in Africa and other countries.
Can I answer that question personally?
Sure.
Yeah.
He wants to talk one-on-one with the judge.
Yeah.
Correct.
No, I don't want to probably open up the scenario, so that's why I wanted to be a little preserving on that.
The question I have is, from all I see, and I'm not a big China fan, I'm a more Japan fan or a Korea fan, but the products they have are not just only inferior in terms of technology, they are, I'll be honest, I think they're competing with the United States. So to scale this up, to be able to, get investors like these guys over here sitting on this side, what's your plans? I mean, how do you think? See, I think you'll have to fight the Chinese, or you have to fight the international market to be successful. I don't think just playing that compliance market is going to get you the solution. That's my view, but like to
That's
hear
the
your
reason
thoughts.
we are here today. We just don't want to stick on with the compliance market, and that's why we are trying to make a global standard solution. One thing, as a gentleman here said, we wanted to probably bring down the BOM cost drastically down. So that's why I gave the number $300. I think we could play even lesser than that. Where we wanted to probably add value is mostly on the AI part of things, where the DMS comes in. And then, of course, the hypervisor part of things, where you're trying to play around with multiple modules within the device. So that value, when you bring in, I think this $300 and $200 that we are talking now is not a big investment for any OEM to come on board.
I hope that answers what you're looking at. Anyone else? Anyone from the audience? Yeah, please. So just take the mic. Yeah.
Is the product also targets AI 059? Yeah, so my name is Pradeep Karnaut. I'm from Endurance Technologies. Okay. Is the product also targeting proposed AI 059?
AIS?
059, which is basically telematics inclusion in commercial vehicles?
We have not kind of probably zeroed down on AI 0.9, because 004, 005, all these things we are trying to figure that out. But the aftermarket segment is something which complies with 140 and 184 and all those things. We have not got into that segment yet.
Do you believe that it's a in discussion thing, probably for a longer period of time now? But if that happens and it becomes a norms, the aftermarket game itself will change.
Absolutely, we believe that, to be honest. But let's, I think, folks here and peer industry experts here will agree that AIS 140 has been discussed 8 years back, sir. And I think not every state has been complying it as well. So we are a long way to go. By the time the board, the chipset is going to mature, the board is going to mature, a lot of things will change. So that's why we are not giving this 004 from the homologation perspective to the 0.9 thing which you are referring to.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
So, you have any ask or something like that? You're not really in a fundraise mode, but ideally, you're looking at a couple of $1 million for a couple of percentage points.
The
which
thing
is a
is,
minority
as I
point.
told you, we started in 2005, assuming that we're going to finish it by March. But then a lot of transformation went through in the board level, right from transformations on hypervisors and everything, kind of delayed the whole process. So we would want to probably know if there's anyone who's interested, investing on the product or the company for a minority stake, with a good evaluation that we can provide. So we're happy to probably have any meaningful discussions around that.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Big hand for. So with that, we come to the last presentation. So, oh yes, sorry, second last. So we have Shahnawaz Safdar, who's the founder of Eco EV. While everyone was talking about parts, he's talking about dealerships and taking EV to the tier 2 and tier 3 cities. Shahnawaz, would you like to take the stage?
Hi, good evening. Pardon me for my tone today. I'm a bit under the weather, so I'll keep it very, very short. So we are, can you move to the next slide? So I'll just brief it. This is where the market stands right now, where it is growing, what are the government demands, and where the EV two-wheeler market is going to be in next decade, 3 years, 5 years down the line. So EcoEV is a patented Indian electric two-wheeler manufacturer, retailer, and a fleet provider company, which focuses on high-quality, low-cost EV scooters for Bharat, primarily targeting toward tier 2, 3, 4 cities. So we, a bit of journey, I started a platform called Bike Setu. Before that, invested around 1 year into researching into the market and knowing where the EV two-wheeler market is heading towards. That was a platform which basically, was a comparing platform. And after that, I realized that, being the OEM is the only way where you can survive, enter into this market. So that is where we 3 months down the line, we are just 3 months old company set up last year in December. We have been selling around 40, 50 vehicles per month, right? We stand at a revenue of 47 lakhs as on today. And targeting in next year, we are targeting around 3.5 crores, and after that, around 33, 35 crores. And that is what the numbers are looking at. So our business model is pretty simple. It's pretty text heavy, but I'll keep it very short. It's vertical integration, OEM plus retailer, targeted very hyper local, primarily towards tier 2, 3, 4 cities. We work directly with the distribution partners as a partner. So what we do is like we enable the distributor through a model which is a distributor, or called, we say, partner invested and company operated, and we train them to become a local kind of a support system or a representative of Eco EV in that zone. And that has worked very well for us in the last 3 months. We have been able to from one partner distributor, we are now 6 dealerships across Telangana. 3 in Bihar, and scaling, in that way. We also do, is a complete full mobility EV service platform. And the third thing that we do is like providing end-to-end solutions for the EV fleet operators. With the vehicles, with battery as a service, we have tied up with Battery Smart, Indofast, and others. Our vehicles are compatible with those BaaS, companies. And we also provide battery on rent, again tying up with lithium-ion battery suppliers. And we provide the EV fleet operators with a 360 solution. I'm not talking about biggies like Zip and all. There are a lot of EV fleet operators who want to start small with, say, 50 fleet or so. So we have tried it with one fleet operator in Jaipur. It's working very well for us. And now they have around 60 vehicles, targeting around 500 vehicles this year. And scaling. So we will be their supplier for everything, from vehicles to end-to-end solutions to service and everything. Yeah. So we are very strategic. We are very fixed into what we are very focused in what we want trying to do. We don't want to be high software, high speed performance and whatnot like Ola Ether. We don't want our software to stop the vehicles wherever the software does not work. our EV two-wheelers are supposed to be running. That is the first condition, right? It should be a good vehicle, run. It should have a good, it should have the basic infrastructure, provide basic information to the customer, should run well, and should have the decent, battery thing. And what differentiates us is the cost. We are very value focused, so our vehicles are moderately lower priced. What we do is like we take some part from Indian manufacturers as of now, and some part we import, right? And then we assemble it. We don't have our own manufacturing setup. We lease it as per the requirements right now because we are very, very early. And that is how we have been able to, scale fast and work accordingly. So we have one patent which is shared, which is we have a license of this patent, right? And we are also applying for some technology patent, which I can share with you as it comes. We are applying for 2 or 3 more patents, which will equip EV for farmers into many different ways, right? Which is also for some of the fleet operators. Some of the patents we are applying for that. Eventually, that will come. This is very important to know. Everyone knows Ola, Ether and all, but there is one market segment which is the low-speed Chinese market segment, which actually occupies 40% of the market share. You might not know, but there are companies I know who sells more than 10,000 vehicles per month, which no one in the room would even know of, right? These are going to be vanish. Like, the government is coming up with a lot of norms to curb those Chinese vehicles. We are actually trying to position ourselves into that. And that is why we are right now creating a distributor channel, right, throughout network with our vehicles right now. And that is where we are focusing upon, right? This is the market we are looking at. Obviously with high quality L1 category vehicles, we are very focused on L1 category, runs up to 70 km/h, with a battery, with a motor capacity of say 1.7 to 2.5 kilowatt. That's it. We don't want a racing bike. We want scooters to be driven for the normal Indian customer. This is our revenue so far. You can see we have sold 120 vehicles. 42.27 is what is the actual revenue that we have, like the sale revenue that we have there, with a margin of 1.2. We are just around sitting at 3% margin at this stage, but in the next 3 years we'll come to around 10% margin on the sales of the numbers. And looking forward to in 5 years we're looking forward to doing higher numbers. This is what our roadmap looks like. Again, same repeated thing. Retail focused is in the first year we are trying to do along with our very tech advancement in our production. A lot of technology that we are trying to involve into our scooters, and then obviously a big roadmap that we've planned ourselves. We will be doing SME IPO in next 3 to 5 years. That is what we really want to achieve. We are looking for 8 crores at this stage. We are looking to raise 8 crores at this stage. Most of the money will go into marketing, branding, and inventory rotation, and 30% of the money will go into the technology side of building what we are going to do. This is exactly what our stores look like, and yeah, that's about it.
Great. Thanks, Shanawaz. Uday.
Shanawaz bhai, I'll be honest, man. टू-व्हीलर मार्केट में बहुत डिफ़िकल्ट है.
I know, sir.
बहुत डिफ़िकल्ट है. और मैं आपको ये बोलूँगा कि मतलब आप प्रोडक्शन भी कहीं और कर रहे हैं. अभी टू-व्हीलर लो स्पीड में ना एक कंपनी है Geely, ऑलरेडी लिस्टिंग कर चुकी है, राइट? चाइना से माल लाती है, बना के बेच देती है. किसी ने नाम भी नहीं सुना था अभी लिस्टिंग से पहले, राइट? सो वो भी एक गेम है. You don't need to spend money on R&D. Your R&D is sitting in China. You come here and you sell thousands of vehicles. My only question to you is, technology is going to be important. How big is your R&D team right now? Or how much R&D have you done over the last 5 years?
We are 3 months old.
No, I know you're 3 months old, but how long have you been working on the technology side of things on this company?
1 year we have been into the research. We are 3 months into formation. We are 3 months into sale. I keep following you, sir, and I know the market is very. I keep following you on.
आप कह रहे हैं ना 8 करोड़ में कुछ भी नहीं होता सर. आपको 8 करोड़ से 800 करोड़ भी चाहिए होंगे,
जाएंगे
तब भी
सर।
कम पड़ेंगे सर।
आ जाएंगे सर. वी नो आर वेरी फोकस्ड मार्केट स्ट्रैटेजी वेयर वी आर गोइंग, है ना. 3 मंथ में मैंने ट्राई किया है एंड इट इज़ वर्क वेल फॉर अस. और हमारा प्राइस पॉइंट इज़ व्हाट इज़ आवर कॉम्पिटिटिव एडवांटेज, राइट. मैं चाइना से 100% इंपोर्ट नहीं कर रहा हूँ, राइट. आई डोंट वांट टू बी चाइनीज स्कूटर.
कितने परसेंट इंपोर्ट कर रहे हैं अभी आप?
जस्ट द बॉडी.
वही मैं पूछ रहा था, टूलिंग है आपके पास? टूलिंग नहीं है अभी? टूलिंग है?
Just the body. We get the controllers and the motors from Indian companies. Battery यहाँ से लेते हैं, right? And we assemble it.
तो आप अभी असेंबली कर रहे हो सारा?
Yes.
इन हाउस क्या कर रहे हो?
In-house sell कर रहा हूँ सर.
सेल कर रहे हो?
Sell कर रहा हूँ. 3 months की कंपनी में what more can you expect at this stage?
मतलब मेरा एग्जाम्पल ये होगा, मतलब बड़े बड़े दिग्गज बैठे हैं, हम तो बहुत छोटे आदमी हैं सर. यूजुअली 4-5 साल लगाते हैं R&D में, डेवलपमेंट करते हैं. आप कोई एक, वेदर इट इज़ योर बैटरी, वेदर इट्स योर पावर ट्रेन, वेदर टेक्नोलॉजी, नहीं तो मेरे व्यू में यू कैन मेक अ लॉट ऑफ मनी ट्रेडिंग. I mean, to do this, you'll have to have an X factor. And honestly, I'm not seeing the X factor. Maybe I'm not. Maybe we can catch up some time. Maybe these guys can see. But I don't see the X factor.
Sir, I am here to do business. मैं थर्ड वेंचर में हूँ अपने. मुझे धंधा समझ में आता है. I'm here to build a company. I'm here to make revenue. I'm here to take it to the next level. That is what my focus is. Technology is an driver for our business. We are working on the technology side by side. I have a team of IITians, right? My advisor is an IITian who is from this industry, and we are working a lot on the technology side of the company. I don't want to become just a technology company and not able to sell one scooter at this stage. I want to parallelly do things, right? पैसा ही नहीं होगा तो क्या करेंगे
So
technology?
your strategy is while you are selling it, you will build the technology
Yes.
and then incorporate it
Absolutely.
going forward.
Absolutely. We have few, we are working on some of the technologies. Some of the things will come up. We are already applying for 2-3 technologies, which will be the real helpful thing on the ground for the fleets primarily.
Okay.
Fleet के लिए, you'll see when we come into the play, right? We are working on 2 or 3 things, which is the real requirement of the fleet operators at this stage.
एक चीज़ और बोलूँगा, हमने फ्लीट्स के साथ काम किया है पिछले 8 वर्षों में. 95% of fleet guys and girls are gone. They are gone. आप पिछले 8 वर्षों में fleet operators देखो, apart from Zip and a few others, बाकी सब खत्म है. तो जरा थोड़ा केयरफुल काम करना.
हाँ, Zip के साथ we will be, so there are 2 vehicles we are manufacturing. One is
I think तो वो
Let me answer.
one-on-one कर लेंगे.
नहीं, मैं आंसर कर देता हूँ. तो just for the for everyone, right? There are two vehicles we are working upon. One is for the retail, one is for the customer, and one is for the fleet. The fleet will be not Chinese model. This will not be Chinese model at all. Nothing of this will be Chinese model, right? So the fleet will be a universal vehicle which you will see with all other including Zip and other companies. We are already in talks with them. They are waiting for our vehicles to come and and do the testing and all. So we are optimistic.
He's just trying to say that.
I'm not saying negative.
हाँ वो एडवाइस दे रहे हैं कि फ्लीट वालों से एडवांस पहले ले लेना, बाद में बेचना.
सर मैं बिना एडवांस के काम ही नहीं करता सर. बिना एडवांस के मैं एक गाड़ी नहीं बेचता हूँ.
Okay.
Taken sir, well taken.
Okay. Riddhish has something.
A quick question. So you said you're 3 months old. The patent that you presented was granted in 2009.
No. So the patent I told you that is we have a license for that patent. Yeah.
Okay.
So that is he's an advisor with us. He's an IT, and we have got a license, and license is on the government side. It's all executed well. We are certified and to use that patent.
What were your other 2 ventures you mentioned?
Last question.
And how did they end up?
So, interesting question. 2009, I started my first venture. That was into digital services, catering to US and Australian customer, working very, very well. And it was a completely bootstrapped all over the time. We started from zero, absolutely zero. कालिंदी कुंज से फर्नीचर मार्केट से सेकेंड हैंड फर्नीचर से अपना ऑफिस का पहला डेस्क बनाया था. Went to multi-million-dollar company, right? And it's still running. My wife is running the show. And the second venture, I entered into used car market into the Indian segment. US और ऑस्ट्रेलिया में काम करने के बाद इंडिया में मार्केट में, वो जयपुर के मार्केट में काम करने के बाद आया, ज़्यादा नहीं 80 लाख रुपए के लगभग जलाया. आफ्टर दैट stopped counting. But yeah, I realized a lot of things, and then I came and that was a bootstrap. So no investors' money invested, right? So yeah, lost money, but made a lot of good connections, and then that is where we actually took a very wise decision coming into the space, and we pivoted very, very quickly, right? And that is where that is why we are able to be generating. From the day one, my focus was very clear. पैसा बनाना है, नहीं बनेगा तो बंद करेंगे, ठीक है? And that is where we are able to generate revenue from the day one of this company.
So, धंधे की बात, शाहनवाज भाई, thank you so much. With that, we have the last one we have. Coming along with this, now we have Rohan Singh, who's the founder and CEO of Zipbolt Innovation, from battery tech to various other things. He's a Bitsian from, say, Bits Pilani, right? Yeah, so let's hear it from.
So very good evening to the audience, and firstly, thank you for giving a wildcard entry for me. So fortunate to be here and presenting to you about Zipbolt. So at Zipbolt, we started off working on certain batteries that were coming end of life. There used to be a pilot that Ola was doing back in the day in 2020, 2019 time. And right after the pandemic, they realized that this wasn't their game into battery swapping, and then they went into manufacturing. So those batteries, they delivered to us for liquidation, for recycling, for enabling. And that's when we started analyzing some of them. And we realized that out of these 1,000-odd battery packs, 600 to 700 were still working, though at different levels of voltage, different degradation of their cells, etc. So that's where we started, getting the idea that a lot of OEMs, a lot of operators, battery swapping companies, EV fleets are sort of looking at this as a key investment part. That's where the capex is going. But then 1 or 2 years down the line, it may just ruin the business, right? And I mean, that sort of, again, repeated itself over and over the last, 3-4 years. So we have set up ourselves as a technology, which is a energy intelligence company. We've done a lot of operations in terms of battery recycling, battery repurposing, worked with OEMs like Tata Motors, etc. Hero Electric, fleet companies, EV taxi, triple E taxi companies. And then what we've thought about that is that unless we are able to deliver this technology, distribute this to either the user or the fleet, we'll not be able to stop the loss. We'll not be able to stop the degradation from happening. We'll not be able to optimize the operations, and certainly will not be able to stop these batteries going to waste, and these companies just dumping them, liquidating them. So Zipbolt, what we're doing is that we're creating that feedback loop, which is otherwise lost because of certain black box nature of batteries. Most of the people utilizing these batteries don't really understand what they're operating, right? We typically think about it somewhat similar to an IC engine vehicle, how we operate. And for a battery, we have some thought process about a lead acid battery that needs water. So, but this is very different. This is a lithium-ion battery, and sometimes that technology can be really dangerous in terms of when it's beyond a certain threshold, it can lead to a thermal runaway. Those incidents that we all have seen on reels in our Instagram, etc. And what we want to do here is that we want to look at this as a key area of eliminating the risk of battery fires, risk of degradation, as well as eliminate the blind spots from the process. In terms of drivers, we are working with companies that are either into EV fleets, where the volumes are, charging station companies, even BESS power data centers, trying to look at where our AI-driven systems can come and protect their capex. And as of now, the kind of intelligence layer, there's no unified intelligence. So we are working on IoT integrated AI SaaS, because wherever we find that there is a black box, we need to deploy an IoT device. So not just an IoT device, but also certain sensors in order to collect that data. Otherwise, if there are capabilities, data can be sort of taken out through CAN or other protocols and brought to our servers. That's where we transform the raw battery data into a real-time diagnostic, also look at safety, intelligence, and lifecycle optimization. In terms of some of the use cases, I'll go through this quickly. So data centers I mentioned, which are optimized using BESS. Then we have charging stations where our Z-Flash app works both on charging station optimization, safety, as well as directly to the user. So you can just step into any of our 100+ charging stations in Delhi, Chandigarh, Agra, Dehradun, and we are expanding more. And just have a 20-minute diagnostic for your two-wheeler, three-wheeler, four-wheeler, where we monitor the signature. We look at the battery anomalies, the voltage profiles, fluctuations under your batteries, and that's where you get a 20-minute diagnostic as a service. Other than that, obviously, there are EV fleets which require a real-time, assessment. They require a long-term mapping. And that's where we bring in predictive maintenance as well as lower the total cost of ownership. Because when you go to sell your battery, from your 1,000, 5,000 scooters or 500 three-wheelers, that's when your financial decision can be a big, big crunch. So residual value, resale value becomes very important. And where we win is that we're bringing in a lot of advanced technologies, not just in terms of the ML ops that we are doing, but also agentic functions specifically for advanced batteries going into BESS as well as the EV fleets. So this whole holistic approach basically to look at safety, performance, ROI, is what we bring in. In terms of our teams, I'm from a BITS Pilani background. I'm a technical person on the team. And with my business officer, Chief Business Officer, Sonia Singh, together we have about 30 years experience. And apart from that, we also have a board of advisors, people who have helped us like Commodore Kapoor and Mr. Veeramuthu. Also in terms of overseas advisors, so we are already tied up with companies in UAE as well as Malaysia, where we find basically the AI SaaS going into either fleets or into data centers or BESS. Current year turnover, we have done about 100,000. This is about 80 lakhs almost. We are looking at our key revenue streams as our EV diagnostics from charging stations as well as AI SaaS deployed across EV fleets, operators, financiers, and bringing in the API integration for various of our customers so that we can directly provide this data, not just for operators, but also for financiers as well as insurance companies. Some of our strategic tie-ups include government entities like EESL, which is EPSL, Liamgo, which is a logistics company, Tahawal AI is based out of UAE, ThinkLock, and ChargeKaro. In terms of our fundraise, we're looking at, this is our Series A round. This is where we are looking at from 2027 onwards, scaling to about $2 million in terms of our ask, and looking at a runway of reaching 5 million ARR by 2029. Yes. So that's all from my side. I'm open to questions.
Thank you so much. A big round of applause. So, who would like to go first?
Yeah, thanks, Ron. Quickly, just to understand, so you said $100,000 of revenue. How many assets are you tracking? How many batteries?
So we're tracking over 100 of these batteries right now in EV fleets, like in four-wheelers as well as three-wheeler logistics companies. And we're also deploying on charging stations, so 100+ charging stations also.
No, so how many batteries are you monetizing basically? Can't be 100, right? I mean.
No, we are around about 250.
So you're making $250 a battery?
No, 250 assets, batteries across four-wheelers, three-wheelers.
He's asking the revenue metric. Your $100,000, वो कहाँ से आया है?
Okay,
Where
so mostly from either from leasing or SaaS or from direct diagnostic reports. The three revenue streams we have. So we sell the IoT also on these systems.
So
Most of them, they don't have the IoT.
So it's the hardware revenue, basically.
Hardware is also included. SaaS revenue per device is about 1,000 rupees per device per month.
Got it. Okay, thanks.
AG?
You said you have a seed investor for 10%. Who is that seed investor?
So we've raised from Meti Startup Hub. We also have a couple of angels. The advisors on board have also invested. So roundabout, we've raised about 60 lakhs last year.
So the 2 million that you're raising now, are they putting in more?
They will be participating, but Meti will not be participating because that's under a Meti Startups Samrit program.
But out of the 2 million, how much is committed so far?
So out of that, right now about
From the existing investors?
200,000 is committed as of now. This is our Series A, so we're going for a smaller round this year so that we can provide a foundation for that.
And where do you get the batteries from?
The batteries?
Yeah.
So we get them from all sort of companies like EV fleet companies such as ESL or Liam Go or some of the other companies like Vision Mechatronics is also another company into second life
Are you buying
batteries.
from them or these are their recycled?
No, we don't buy batteries. We don't buy any batteries. We only provide the devices and the SaaS for them.
The answers your question.
The revenue right now is 80 lakhs. So we're trying to get to 100,000 this year. I'm sorry. Trying to get to 100,000 this fiscal.
What are you valuing the company at?
So last round valuation was 32 crores.
Okay, and on this round?
This round, once we will raise, I mean, as per dilution.
So,
There's no set valuation that we have kept
so
in.
his Series A is targeted at around $2 million. Okay, so prior to that, it'll be probably at a discount to whatever the valuation we come to at. That's
Yeah,
what
that's a
it is.
CCPS because that's the CCPS.
And compared to the other competitors in the market, again, what is your, what?
Unfair advantage
Yeah,
sort of thing.
yeah, yeah.
So I think that is the distribution because largely the competitors that are, into diagnostics or they are, into some kind of, let's say, repurposing, what they're doing is they're selling a large hardware. Maybe they're selling a large machine for diagnostic or, they are trying to repurpose the batteries and deploy. So what we are doing is that we are associating with companies who are currently using batteries. So we're sort of looking at this from day one instead of entering a market where, they're already at a degraded level and then you have to sort of not, think about what happens.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks so much,
Thank you so
Rohan.
much. Good evening.
And thanks for being a sport for the impromptu thing. Ladies and gentlemen, with the pitch session over, I would like to hand over the mic to